There's a lot of people out are looking to either renovate and extend their own home.
Yeah.
If you were to think about your own experience, what would you recommend to those people?
It's a long process.
There was obviously that balance of life. You were just talking before offline about your mental capacity and throughout that process as well.
A lot of things slap when you're time poor.
When you were on the market, where did you feel most supported? What was the most stressful to you? Talk to me about that experience.
Nothing was stressful. I trust in the agent always, but
Would you give them any recommendations at the moment? Upsizing from a smaller place like you and moving on to a bigger one?
Everyone's circumstance is different. Everyone's mindset is different. I feel like nothing is forever.
I'm Yash, and this is Tomorrow Defined, the podcast that takes you inside the real world of buying and selling property. As a real estate agent at Jellis Craig, I've helped hundreds of families sell their most prized asset with confidence, clarity, and strong results. And you don't need to be in the inner north of Melbourne to get value out of these episodes. The strategies, behind the scenes looks, and value I provide in these episodes will help you make smarter property decisions wherever you are. Zedin, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate your time.
No problem, you're welcome.
Your insights are very valuable. You're now very experienced with renovating and extending and real estate in general. And I think your insights will be very useful for the audience out there. Just a bit of a background. Zedin is one of the owners of this lovely home that we're sitting in right now. They've done an incredible job. We just sold it last week. So congratulations to that as well.
Thank you.
And I just want to get Zedin on here to talk about her experience and obviously provide some insights to you guys around what she did and what she would recommend for future people as well. Now, talk to me about your experience renovating and extending firstly. And there's a lot of people out there that are looking to either renovate and extend their own home or potentially buy something like this. A lot of the buyers that came through here were on that fence.
Yeah.
If you were to think about your own experience, what would you recommend to those people?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for and what you're hoping to achieve. You know, there's so much to take into consideration when you buy a property to renovate and live in. It's a long process. You know, you might need to live on rent whilst you're renovating, if it's in the state of what this house was in.
Yeah, of course.
Very, very, very old.
You'll have to rent in that case.
Yeah, it's a timely process, you know, from planning, permits to actually constructing it. There's so many stakeholders, and when it's your own home, there's so much more pride that goes into it and so much more like finer detail thought about how you're going to live in the home and how it's going to serve you 5 years later when you have kids or when your kids are growing.
Of course. And that's what you guys thought about with South Street, right?
Yeah.
Your first home.
Yeah.
You guys obviously sold that and done well there. But you guys renovated that?
Yeah, so that wasn't to the stage of this. We were still able to live in the home whilst we were renovating it. But that was still like a kitchen renovation, adding outdoor entertaining areas, landscaping, built-in wardrobes. So around this area, like a lot of the homes don't have built-in wardrobes. So, you know, there are cosmetic things that you can do to increase the value and
100%.
increase your lifestyle at home. So there's many avenues, whether you have the time as well. That's something else to take into consideration. Having the time to select all the materials, going through the paperwork, speaking to the builder, you know, getting the permit and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot.
It's a big process, and luckily your partner's in the trade game, so that helps as well.
Yeah.
But you do have 2 kids, so that's obviously something that you had to take into account.
Yeah. So time consuming, a lot of time lost, not lost, experience gained in comparison to spending quality family time.
That's the sacrifice.
Trying to balance the two.
How did you experience that with balancing it? That's important because I think that's something maybe that not a lot of families think about before starting it. They might be wanting to go all in and do the renovation, the extension. But there was obviously that balance of life. You were just talking before offline about your mental capacity and throughout that process as well.
Yeah, so like a lot of things slap when you're time poor. I was mentioning to Yash, I had realised I wasn't eating enough, you know, sort of taken back the reins of I need to eat more wholesome foods. You know, I need to start focusing back on my kids and making sure that they're well fed and they're not just snacking all day and, you know, spending more quality time with them as a family, etc.
Yeah. And that's, again, something that people think about a lot. and your life is more important sometimes to those things. But obviously you guys have done a lot of work and a lot of time commitment into this. And I think that's where a lot of that time commitment came into you guys as well.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this.
I guess, you could do things more slowly. They could take more time and you can balance your life and not get much done. It's about priorities, really.
And where you are in your life, like you said before.
What you want to sacrifice in the process, or, how to go about it. Whether you have support.
Yeah, that helps.
As well.
True.
We're very lucky. We have a lot of support. My sister, my mum, between my partner and I, etc. Like
your mum coming and feeding you, like you were saying those stories at night time.
Mum sending food, mum looking after the kids.
It helps, definitely helps.
It does help, my relationship with my partner. So the whole thing, working together through all of it. We're lucky,
You need a good foundation there for sure.
Yeah.
And when you reflect on before you were selling, so I know you've already sold where you initially were as well. What did that process feel like to you? And like, what was your preconception of the process? I know you've never sold a home of this caliber before. I know you sold one that you guys renovated to a beautiful spec. But what was your process? What did you think about the whole process?
The process of selling, obviously, it's not foreign to me. It's just a key area of interest for me, like real estate in general.
Always on realestate.com.
Yeah, always on realestate.com. I enjoy homes. I enjoy architectural homes. I enjoy looking at the market. And one of those things, like before we were selling, the market doesn't really faze me. You can never time the market. My perspective is that at a time where the market might be performing low, or, winter's not a good time to sell, or spring is the best time to sell, it doesn't really change much in my perspective when I look on the market right now. Well, how many turnkey homes are there?
Not a lot.
Exactly. Not a lot. So maybe now is a good time to sell if you've got a turnkey home, because come time spring, if everyone thinks that spring is the season, you might have more competition.
And that's rare coming from, you're ultimately a homeowner, right? You're not a real estate agent. We usually preach that to our clients, but you were the one preaching that to me at the start as well, which was very interesting. We were catching up at the property when you're doing the developments and you're like, when's a good time to sell, Yash? I think now is a good time to sell. There's nothing on the market.
There's nothing on the market, I mean, I remember looking, I'm always looking every week, but I remember looking in Feb, and it was after Christmas, after, the summer holidays, and the influx of properties, so many properties went online. It was insane. And one of the first properties that went online, I remember they even pushed out their auction date because there were so many more properties that actually came on. They had more competition. You can never time it.
Yeah. When you were on the market, when we look at that and that process, how did that feel to you? Where did you feel most supported in that process? What was the most stressful to you? Talk to me about that experience.
Nothing was stressful, to be honest.
That's very rare as well.
I'm actually surprised we were talking about that. Nothing was stressful. I trust in the agent always, so I trusted in you. Yeah, you have to. You're the professional. You're the expert. Yes, I love real estate. Yes, I have my perspectives. But I'm self-educated, not educated.
Yeah.
In the industry, I felt comfortable. I felt confident, as in I know that you're honest, and that was the first vibe that I got from you. That's why I decided to go with you. You had no hidden agenda that was black and white, So I just trusted in the process. I trusted in you. Yeah.
Thank you. That does mean a lot to me. I do pride myself on that, just being upfront, transparent, black and white, but guiding you through the process. When we look at, were the rest of the family on that same page, do you think, were they a bit more stressed than you? Because obviously you look at realestate.com a lot more than they do probably.
Guess it depends on how many times you've been through the process.
True. Had they sold before? Have the rest of your family sold before?
So they were probably a bit more anxious, nervous, a lot more emotion. I literally had no emotions. It was so weird. It was just a process. It literally felt like a process.
Yes. So you got the experience behind you. You've been through that process. You've spoken to agents. You know how the selling process works a bit more.
I've been to 6 auctions. I've bidded 6 times at an auction.
Wow. There you go.
So it doesn't...
Okay. So it's more of a transactional
I see it as a transaction. There's no emotions.
What was your first place? Was that South Street?
No, it was a townhouse in Pascoe Vale.
Okay. So when we look at the townhouse in Pascoe Vale, if you can reflect back to that, what were you feeling through that process? Because you wouldn't have been as experienced back then. And that was a place that you were going to live, right? Yeah.
No, so I purchased that private sale.
Yep.
Sold at auction. You know what? I think selling a home, by the end of it, it's exhausting. So I think the fact that I was cleaning so much, I had a little, like a young one. I think Harris was 18 months, if that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it all comes down to presenting the home. That's the only thing that's in your control. I was
True.
saying before that,
Yeah.
you know, nothing's in my control and we just trust in the process. That's the only thing that's in my control, presenting the home. And so, yeah, I think I was just exhausted by the end of it. The auction was probably more nerve-wracking and exciting. First time selling. Yeah, it was a bit more exciting. Purchasing South Street was very exciting. That was a very intense auction. Like, it wasn't intense, it's fun. But yeah, there was a lot going on during that auction.
Did
It
you
was
bid or
heat of
bet
the
us?
I bid.
Oh, you bid? Oh, good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. It was
It's so exhilarating, isn't it?
yeah, it was pretty full on.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was just going up in small increments. I was bidding large, and it was an auction that went on for a long time with small bids, large bids, small bids, large bids, trying to like knock the person out, and it just wasn't working.
Did it work? Nothing worked, all the strategies. Just quickly, guys, if you're a young family looking to upsize, or you're someone that wants to make a move with your property journey and you're feeling overwhelmed with where to start, feel free to use the link below to book a call with myself and my team. We'd be more than happy to help with a tailored strategy for your specific situation so you have the confidence to make the move. Whether you're looking at doing it now, whether you're looking at doing it down the line, we can definitely assist with any goals you may have. Now back to the episode. I think you made a good point before around the actual homeowner living in the home. So that's something that we talk through a lot. Some of my clients say, should we move out? Should we style the full property and completely move out to our parents' house or rent somewhere? How was that process for you, and what would you recommend? Because obviously presentation is a very important thing, and you were having to clean the house every week. Obviously 2 kids didn't help.
It depends on circumstances. I mean, I could recommend something, but you know, I think ideally I would want to move out, have it staged.
You have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do. Do you have somewhere to move out to? Are you, selling and then buying? Have you purchased, but, settlement still isn't until another 3 months, etc. You've just gone on the market. Ideally, I personally would prefer to move out, have it staged, present your home in the best possible way. I have done partial styling before when I sold my previous home. Staging goes a long way. And for a family with kids, where, you've got bits and pieces of furniture that's broken, damaged, or, you wanted to buy a few paintings and so forth, just let it go and pay for partial staging.
Yeah.
So I was, before we sold our previous property, we were kind of going through the cycle of, okay, I want to refresh my home. So I'm over this look. So I just purchased some new cushions and I was going to purchase a new artwork. I just sold the previous one on Marketplace. I was going through a transition. And then we decided we were going to sell. But, I think we're done. Let's just sell. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go and purchase all this stuff for this home. So I got partial staging, helps with the incy-wincy, the stuff, the small decor, the paintings. Add an armchair here. The kids' rooms didn't look like kids' rooms anymore. Well, the nursery still did. But, Harris had cool new bedside tables temporarily.
Perfect. So you presented it well for a sale particularly. Obviously, it's different to when you're living there.
Correct,
you presented it for what the general marketplace will value. And you did quite well there.
Yeah, very well.
You did very well there, which is awesome to see. Now, bringing it back to this sale here, talk to me about the outcome here around the sale price, the negotiations, because I know it was a very long negotiation back and forth, and I remember you saying to me, I just want this done, so just get something done. But obviously it didn't go ahead as planned at auction, which, like you said, it's a part of the process, and I'm glad you guys are aware of that. But the good thing was we still sold it under auction conditions 3 days later. Yeah. But talk to me about how you guys felt throughout that process and what you were thinking.
Throughout that process, I've never sold in this price bracket, which is obviously a different kind of market in itself. There's just so many more questions, so many more negotiations, so many more people who want the home, but they're not in the right financial situation, Yes. We don't want to sign subject to finance, etc., prior to auction, after auction, and just go backwards and forwards. So there was a lot going on. You were really good at communicating all of that. Thank you. Yeah, it passed in an auction, but I wasn't there's still people on the market. You brought someone through at 4 o'clock on the day of auction. On Monday you brought someone through. 2 days after auction, there's still people there. So, and even that, I was just like, if someone's still coming through for the first time on the day of the auction, after the auction, there's still people.
Absolutely, there's still buyers.
The market's still seeing the home. Like, we had good numbers throughout the campaign. Yes, a lot of them were people who wanted to see the home, neighbours. You know, we've even met people recently where they're like, oh my God, was that your house? I went through that house.
Oh, no
oh
way.
my God. You know, the kitchen, living, dining was insane. Oh my God, I love the tiles. Where were the tiles from? I get people ask me so many questions. Everyone loves the home. Everyone wanted to come and see it.
Of course.
And they did, you know, and I'm grateful that I was able to partially
Yeah.
design a home of this quality. But yeah, just the amount of questions that came. There was still so many people coming through, some buyers. And yeah, you did bring through new buyers. And we're happy that we sold. It was pretty much the price that we had expected. We just wanted it over and done with. The amount of questions. I mean, that day that the house sold, when I saw like the email and
executed contracts.
the 7 questions, and I was like,
Oh,
and
that email.
the amount of calls that I got when I was at Pilates in the morning,
Oh.
I actually my phone just kept ringing and I was just like, oh my God. And then I saw the questions and I was just like, do I really have to go back to the property to measure how high
And you did.
the PowerPoint is? Like, for the TV, like, it's at standard height. There was so much, like, it took us an hour to actually compile
All the information.
Yeah, like coming here, measuring it, double checking that there is, like, you know, sometimes you do know the answer, but you want to be certain.
100%.
Coming
And
back
you guys
and
were,
forth.
you were very thorough.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I think they appreciated that. The good thing
Yeah.
was we got back to them very quickly as well.
And that was part of the thing. Like, that's what you have to do. If you've got a buyer there, there's questions, you need to respond. It's part of the process. And that's something that's in my control. Presenting the homes in my control. Coming back to you promptly with responses is in my control.
Yes. And you did. You worked with me very well, and I'm hoping I did that reciprocally with you guys as well. And I think that helps getting a property sold for the best price. It's the communication, it's all of that together.
The long hours, you close the deal at like 9 p.m. I was like, yeah, I'm tired. It's been a long day.
That would have been a big day for you as well.
It was. I can't remember what was on that day. I was just exhausted, and I remember I was like, okay, like, whatever. There was actually, I was so tired that day. There was zero, like, I think there was relief in the sale, like relief in that we don't have to talk to you every day.
Yeah.
And here, you know, the repetition of who's come through, what's going on, trying to make predictions, you know, the negotiations and stuff. That was a relief. Like, as in, I think the hard part was just spending so much time.
Yeah.
Time presenting the property, time selling the property, time negotiating.
What would you say was the most valuable part of the whole process throughout this campaign?
The most valuable part, your communication. You communicated so well all the time. After every inspection, who the buyers were, what the circumstances were. The ultimate control is always in the vendor. The decision making is always in the vendor. But you never had your own agenda, and you always reminded us, guys, I'm happy to do whatever you want, guided by you. So you tell me, I'm working for you. And that's a nice reminder because, you know, you always see or hear agents who are trying to push their own agenda. They just want a sale. And so they might try to influence. You know, I've had appraisals before for a home, and we had a studio out the back, but there was no ensuite in there. And I had 3 agents come through, and I asked whether they thought that adding a bathroom to the studio would increase the value, and I didn't even ask if it was worthwhile doing. I just wanted to know what their take was on it. And I had one agent tell me, don't do anything, sell your home as is. It's perfect, it's fine. And he just wanted the listing. And he wanted it fast.
Wow.
But then I had, you know, the Giles Craig agent tell me it will add approximately this much to this much value. It was very insightful. And it was just so honest, exactly like you. So that's what I found. I was just like, oh, wow. Most Giles Craig agents seem like they're honest.
A bit more approachable, I think, is also the word.
Yeah, much more approachable. Yeah, never have their own agendas. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's been my experience by far.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And that means a lot to me as well. Yeah. So I do appreciate those kind of words. Is there anything else that you would mention about the process to someone that's maybe looking at selling themselves? At the moment, they're thinking of what to do. They're maybe thinking of upsizing. I do have obviously a lot of those people that follow me, and those are my clients as well that are upsizing from a smaller place like you and moving on to a bigger one. Would you give them any recommendations at the moment?
I personally feel, everyone's circumstance is different. Everyone's mindset is different. I feel like nothing is forever. So buy a home that serves you, or you can make it serve you at least for the next 5 years at least. You know, whether you don't have kids and you're planning on having kids, or whether you've got kids and they're growing, if the home is, you know, in the right location for you or the right size for you, it might not be perfect and you can perfect it to the way you want. You know, you might be able to change the kitchen. You might want an established home. I guess work out what your priorities are and work out what you're looking for in a home. And if you can't find that home, then create it.
Yeah.
If you think that that's fit for you, just, I guess, you need to evaluate what you want, what you're looking for, how long you need that for.
And then what your next, you said an important thing there about your 5-year plan. So look at
I
the
would
next
say
few
at least
years.
5 years. I mean, you know, I got married and was living with my partner in the townhouse. We had a baby. He was like 18 months old and we were just like, you know what, this is getting too small. It was a very small townhouse, first home. And then, you know, we upsized.
Into South Street?
Into South Street, yeah. And then we added what we needed across time and made that home work for us. It was a beautiful home. And then, you know, the home was probably still serving us, but then, you know, when little things just annoy you, like a house on stumps is always a house on stumps.
It's never going to be changed.
It's never going to be changed. All the houses here. It wasn't the stumps that were the issue. It was just like, we always like doing our own additions.
Yeah.
Walls are never straight, right? So, you know, we're putting in built-in robes and trying to navigate walls that aren't straight. We're renovating the kitchen, walls aren't straight. The floors aren't straight. They're always out. I had a friend complaining to me about it. She's first time renovating and they're living in the home.
Oh,
and she was just getting her kitchen in and she's like, I cried today. The wall is not straight.
I know how you feel.
I'm like, I've been there. And you know what? No one can tell but you. Because no one actually looks at that.
That granular.
That granular. You know, the walls are out by 1 or 2 centimetres. The floors are out by 1 or 2 centimetres.
Yeah.
You know, there's ways of navigating it. They were the small things that annoyed us throughout the process. But yeah, then we just had bigger plans.
What's the next steps for you guys as your collective group? Or as well as yourself and your partner and your family.
One step at a time, one project at a time. That's my motto. Anytime someone asks me. So yeah, up and over, on to the next. We'll see.
But taking more time for yourselves now and having a bit more
Yeah,
balance.
doing things slowly.
Yeah, awesome.
Just finding a balance in life, learning, growing.
Grown a
in
lot,
the process.
I'm sure.
Yeah, across all dimensions. You know, this was an experience. Everything's an experience. So yeah, we like trying new things, doing things differently. This was a dream. We made it happen.
It's awesome. With
Off
a lot
the
of hard
bucket
work.
list. Yeah.
You've done well here, and I think the market could see that as well. I think the market sees value in good quality homes that are done, especially in a time, like you said, where there's not a lot of those homes on the market. So that was our way of really standing out here. So I think the timing was a tick. But thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time.
That's okay.
And is
You're
there
welcome.
anywhere that people can find you? Did you want to plug any of your socials into this as well?
Yeah, Nest Projects.
And that's where you've done your whole projects for this one. There's all the...
Yeah. So we started with this one. We just had so many people that were interested. Whilst we were on site, everyone wanted to chat. Everyone who walked by wanted to come in. No more. Busy. Just... here's our Instagram. You can see what it looks like on there.
Perfect.
It's not safe.
Yeah, don't come in. It wasn't safe at sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you got value from today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to receive all of the insights, real world strategies, and tips and tricks that help you sell smarter and move forward with confidence. If you'd like more support, feel free to check out the link in the show notes below to get more free resources and tips and tricks that can help you move forward as well. If you'd like more support, feel free to click the link below and book in a call with myself. I'm more than happy to help with any tailored strategies for yourself and your family's specific situation. And if you'd like to find me on socials, my handle is Yash on most platforms, where I also provide more insights and real world strategies. See you next time.